Welcome to Refocus-On-U, the podcast that takes you through a spiritual journey of overcoming the battles and gaining the victories in your life by incorporating the 8 fundamentals of health. Connect with us online at REFOCUSONU.com. That's ReFocusOn.com. Or connect with us on Facebook at Facebook.com/ReFocusOnU. Now, sit back, rest, relax, refocus, renew, relive, and trust in God completely. Here is your host, Malinda P, and co-host, Dr. E.
Well, hello. Happy Hump Day. And thank you, Jesus, for another week. Folks, you know we're at the end of October now. And just a few days, November will be here. I know. I told you Dr. E would be on this week, and I was truly looking forward to catching up with her, but I had to make a quick little reverse, and trust me, she will be on next week. But I just couldn't pass up this opportunity that would allow me to have this special guest on the show, and that is my love and my husband, Mr. Richard Peart.
Appreciate the intro. I appreciate it. Greetings, everyone. How y'all doing today? I hope y'all doing well.
Oh, yes. And you know, babe, when we are on either a long or short vacation, you know, what do? You know, we always leave work and the world behind. We totally unplug.
That's right.
What's the rule that you have? No cell phones?
No cell phone, no tablet, no laptop.
No
texting.
No outside communication. No, none of that. Just you and me. Hubby rules, y'all. And so that's why, you know, it was a blessing when I asked him. I said, babe, you think you could do a show for me, you know, and tell your story? And so when he said yes, I was like, thank you, Jesus. Because yes, when hubby and I do get away, especially with me doing Refocus-On-U and, you know, him and his channel on YouTube, Char the Tech Guy, we are living busy lives. And so sometimes my husband and I, we have to let everything go and recharge. And so sit back and relax, folks. Welcome to the Refocus-On-U podcast.
Refocus on you. 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 Life is so good. Don't waste your time. It's never too late. Refocus on you. Refocus on you. Refocus on you. Refocus on you. Tell me how to put it all together. Tell me how to put it all together. Tell me how to put it all together. Refocus on you.
Let's get real about this.
And what I want to do is I want to start off by asking my husband, like I said, you know, both of us have been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And so I would really like for you to tell your story. I know God has brought you through some challenging times. And I know there were some things that you had to do in order to live a blessed life. So, babe, give us a story, a history. You know, tell us what happened, you know, how you're living with your autoimmune disease.
Well, I would say what happened to me started about 20 years ago. I started having some stomach issue that I personally didn't know what was going on. It caused my stomach to be upset all the time. I was puking, I was having cramps, and all kind of weird stuff going on. I thought it was just maybe a stomach bug, stomach virus. So I tried to self-heal myself by using Pepto-Bismol, Tums, all that stuff, just try to settle my stomach down. But then it progressed more than just 3 or 4 days, so I decided to go to the doctor. And then after I went to the doctor, he himself thought it was just an upset stomach or a stomach virus, stomach bug, something to that, effect.
Right.
After the second week come around and I was still having that issue, then I realized it is much serious than what I think it is or what my primary doctor thought it was. So I had to actually go to a higher level. That's when I decided to go to the VA hospital. Since I'm a vet, I was able to go there, and then they started doing deeper analysis on what's going on, which include upper GI, lower GI tests, CAT scan, and eventually they finally did a colonoscopy just to see if that's where the area of the problem is. And sure enough, they found a very highly attacked colon. So
Wow.
my colon was just inflamed.
Wow.
And it blew their mind just to see what was going on inside of my colon. So that was the source of the problem right there. At the time, they didn't know what to call it. So they just call it an inflammation in my system. Eventually, it got a name, which is more popular now, called Crohn's disease. That's what it ended up being in the end. Now that they found the source of the problem, they put me on a medication that they thought would at least help. Of course, they said this is a 50% chance of you making it or it's getting worse.
And so, when they told you the 50% chance, what did you do? What was going through your head at that time?
Well, in my head, it sounded like he was already writing me off, that I should just get my affairs in order.
Right.
But I was not ready to leave yet. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try to do whatever I can personally to see if I could help reverse the situation. I didn't really give up yet because I was raised with my grandmother that forced me to not quit and not give up on anything in life.
Yeah.
Because even when I was young, I was puking the same way, but it's not like now. So maybe this was a precursor back then to what I have finally experienced when I became an adult. Yeah, she would tell me after I finished puking in the backyard to go to school.
Business as usual, huh?
Exactly. Go rinse your mouth out with some mouthwash and head on down the road, pal.
Oh man. So then in that case, when you did, when you experienced this vomiting, did you lose any time from work?
Oh, no. Because my mind was already engineered to keep it going no matter what.
Right.
Then I still went on to work.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I was puking at work in the bathroom while I was at work.
Wow.
Now, luckily, I was working a night shift, so there was a limited staff. So a lot of people didn't know what was going on. But they did notice that I was losing weight just because of my facial, my face was sunk in because I lost 20 pounds and I was already at 140.
Wow.
So that dropped me down to 120. So I wasn't looking pretty.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No sexiness.
No.
But like a zombie. But like I belong on the thriller video with Michael Jackson. You know what I mean?
Oh man, yeah. Oh yeah.
So.
And it's funny. You reminded me of a situation. I remember when we were dating, and you would come up from Atlanta, and I was like, oh man, this dude is so skinny. And I would be cooking all these meals and fixing all this, food and stuff. Mm-hmm. And you'd be eating, and I'd be like, yeah, keep on eating, keep on eating. I was trying to fatten him up, y'all. And I was like, keep on eating. And then you would go back home, and then you would tell me that, babe, I lost more weight. It wasn't the fact that you were, throwing up or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's just that's how your body was, that's just how everything was designed. And I was like, what? And so I found out that, feeding him, that wasn't the trick. That wasn't the trick at all.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's powerful. That is powerful. And so when you experienced being at work, vomiting, throwing up, how did you feel? In other words, it had to be scary because it has to get to a point where you're afraid to eat anything because you're afraid you're going to throw it right back up. How did you decide which foods were safe and which foods were not safe?
It was trial and error. I mean, I couldn't tell you what was going to work and what couldn't work because I did not know myself. And I mean, I would eat a slice of pizza and it'd be fine. But then the next time I ate the slice of pizza, it'll upset my stomach.
Wow.
You know, I would eat bread one time, then the next time I eat bread, it might or may not upset my stomach. I mean, I got to the point where just drinking a glass of water would just irritate my stomach.
Wow.
And can you imagine puking up plain water? I mean, it looks like water that's coming up, but that's what was coming back out of my system. So, I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I was drinking Ensure and Boost to keep my nutrients, keep me having some type of fullness in my stomach.
Right.
It was very hard. I mean, I had to do a lot of trial and error. I mean, even after they put me on a medication that they said that would help try to reverse the process, I still had to go to the trial and error process, trial and error, because I wouldn't know what would work or what would not work until I just tried it. So it took years to narrow down the stuff that I know would not gel with my system. And right now, it's broccoli and peanuts and strawberries.
Okay then. And like you said, it took 20 years just to, well, not 20 years, but it took a while to narrow down, like, okay, this is what I've got to avoid completely.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, well, let me see, let me try this and then that doesn't work, or let me try that doesn't work. I mean, it took some time for you to say no broccoli, no peanuts, no strawberries.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you have noticed that gives you flare-ups?
No, like I said, I had to actually eat the food and see what it does to my system. I had to eat broccoli to find out broccoli wasn't gelling with the system. You know, because I went down to the point where I couldn't eat any food at all to revert back to baby food. When I went to the store buying baby food, I know the cashier was thinking I had a baby, but I had no child at that time. It was just me. My mind told me, try this, you know what I mean? And I know I needed nutrients, so I went to the baby section looking at the different flavors, and I said, I try this, try that. That tended to work. I didn't have any issue with that one, but that's what it boiled down to. Started taking the medication, I had to start eating real food again. What I'm talking about is every single thing. Banana, rice, bread. You know what I mean? Stuff that people eat today and it doesn't even affect them.
Right.
I had to introduce all that stuff back in my body again to see what worked and what doesn't work.
Wow.
And like I said, those are the three things I know of today that I tried not to ingest, because every time I ingest them, it's an episode.
Right. Exactly. Folks, it's time to take a break. Let's stretch, because there's still more. When we come back from break, hubby will tell us the lessons that he learned in living with Crohn's disease. And so stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Stick around. More with Malinda P and Dr. E is on the way. Refocus-On-U will be right back.
When I look at all the things that your hands have made, the sun, the moon, the stars, the earth, and the beauty that you gave, I lift my hands to you as I bow before your throne. You're my King of Kings, my Lord of Lords. I worship you, your majesty. Your majesty. Your my majesty. You're the Savior of my soul. Supplier of my needs. Your majesty. Your my majesty. King of kings and Lord of lords. I worship you, your majesty. When I see a little child in his mother's arms, I marvel how you gave him life and you keep him safe and warm. I lift my hands to thee as I bow before your throne. You're my King of kings and my Lord of lords. I worship you, your majesty, your majesty, your majesty. You're the Savior of my soul, supplier of my needs. Hey, 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 your majesty, my majesty. You're my King of kings and Lord of lords. I worship you, your majesty, your majesty, my majesty. You're the Savior of my soul, supplier of my needs. Hey, hey, hey. Your majesty, your my majesty. You're my King of kings and Lord of lords. I worship you, your majesty. Lord, I worship you, for there's none like you, your majesty. 'Cause you're worthy of all honor and all praise, your majesty, your majesty. And I love you, Lord, your majesty, hey, your majesty. Hallelujah.
Connect with us online at ReFocusOnU.com. That's ReFocusOn.U.com. Once again, here are Malinda P. and Dr. E.
And so we're back once again. Thank you for tuning in to the Refocus on You podcast on Envision Radio. That's right, Envision, www.envision-radio.com. I am your host, Malinda P., and with me today is my special guest, my husband, Mr. Richard Peart. And joining us today, we are learning some lessons, life lessons basically, and what he learned and how he didn't let his diagnosis define him nor stop him from living. But before I have him speak, I just want to give a virtual hug out to my Refocus on You family on Facebook, and a couple more hugs out to Vonda and her family, and Nagash and his family. Both of you guys, I want to thank you. I appreciate you. You have been with me from the beginning of when Refocus on You started. And I also want to give a shout out to my Facebook new family, the Refocus-On-U podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in as well. And so, sweetheart, before we went on break, you had given us the diagnose, which was Crohn's, and how it started for you. But please tell us, what changes did you, have to make, and lessons learned? And I want to go back to the part where you were stating that you found the things that worked for you, or not worked for you, that you had to avoid, such as broccoli, strawberries, and peanuts. But there's also one other thing that you had to avoid as well, which was the grease, wasn't it? Because that seemed like that would have triggered it.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me on that one. That one almost slipped my mind. But yeah, anything that's heavily greased, like deep fried stuff, fried chicken and stuff like that, I had to reduce. For some reason, I guess the grease just backed up in my system, caused a reversal in the system, if you know what I mean.
Wow.
And those puking days, I mean, I don't miss them because it's just not pretty, It helped when the stuff came back out of my system, because it helped my body feel much better. But I try not to even go down that road if I can possibly do. So yeah, anything that's too greasy, and especially at certain time of the day, like anything too late in the evening, it's definitely going to cause an issue. I already discovered that. And like I said, all of this is trial and error. What to eat, what time to eat.
Yes.
What to avoid. And I don't really eat a lot of red meat. You know what I mean? Red meat just takes a longer time to process in your system. So I try to avoid that. If I do, it'll be so far in between. I don't eat like steak, a little oxtail or a pork chop, but nothing heavy. Those are the things, like you say, you remind me of that one. I do need to avoid the grease, which I do try to. I mean, I really don't try to eat anything too greasy.
That would really bring on a whole bunch of problems. I mean, even in my situation, I had to change my diet. I had to let go of the greasy foods, the fried foods. I had to take out the meat out of my diet because I had to totally take out, reduce the inflammation. So, everybody's body is different. You have to find a way what works for you, basically.
Yeah, you definitely have to tune your body to what it can handle. Everybody thinks you can just eat anything. You got to know your body and realize what you can eat and what you can't eat. And that's the most important thing. So you have to make changes. And you got to reduce the stress.
The rest, got to get the rest.
Got to get the rest.
Yeah.
You got to keep the anger down. Anything that's negative to the body.
Right.
Try to put more positive into the body and leave all that negative stuff behind.
Because that disease feeds off of stress. And if you don't want any flare-ups, you need to take that negativity out. If you're dealing with a negative person, you need to remove yourself, because if you have an autoimmune disease, it will the stress will surely aggravate it and cause that flare-up in the body.
I agree. Well. I definitely agree. Yep.
So, babe, we're almost out of time. What advice can you tell those who are battling with Crohn's, irritable bowel syndrome, colitis? What advice can you tell them?
Well, my best advice is to tell you not to give up. The doctor might write you off and tell you that you're probably going to die from this or whatever. Yeah, you could, but you could die of anything else. But you can keep a positive mind. If you want to live, you're going to fight to live. It's easy to die, but you have to fight for life. But you have to make changes, because Crohn's is not going anywhere. Once you get it, it's going to be with you for life. Best thing you can do is put it in remission. That's where you want it to hang out. You don't want it to hang out in your body a lot, but you have to make those changes. I did it. Like I said, for at least 15 years now, mine's been in remission. And I'm fighting every single day, keep it in remission. I want to live life. I want to go places with my wife. And I don't want to be stuck in the room while she's out there jet skiing and parasailing.
That's right.
With some of the dudes. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So I'm fighting for life. And you have to be the same way too, but make those changes. Change what you eat. Don't try to rely on the medication only. You have to put in work too. Just like how the medicine is working, you got to work with it too.
Right, exactly. That is so true. You cannot rely on the medication, because you've got to make changes. You've got to make lifestyle changes, folks. Very, very important. Well, folks, we are out of time. I want to thank all of you for tuning in today. And I want to thank my Facebook family and Instagram family, the Refocus-On-U, and my new Facebook Refocus-On-U podcast family today. And of course, my special guest, the man who brings out the best in me, my lover, my friend, my side piece, my boyfriend and companion and husband, Richard Peart. You can check my baby out on both of his YouTube channels, Chard the Tech Guy, where he provides tech advice, tutorials, reviews on the latest tech, and so much, much more. And find out about this Jamaican Cuban man on his second YouTube channel called Who is Chard? That's spelled C-H-A-R-D, where he takes you back and shares his life story. Well, folks, hubby and I have a few more days to stay unplugged from it all, and you better believe I am soaking it up. But afterward, I'm headed north to Michigan, where I'll be hanging out with Dr. E. And in the meantime, you've been listening to the Refocus-On-U podcast every Wednesday, 12 noon on Envision Radio. That's right, Envision, www.envision-radio.com. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Refocus-On-U and follow us on the Refocus-On-U podcast. Don't forget to check out our latest article on our website. Tune in to www.refocusonu.com. And folks, always remember, accept the diagnosis, not the prognosis, and let God do the rest. See you next time.
You've been listening to Refocus-On-U with Malinda P and Dr. E. Connect with us online at refocusonu.com. That's refocus.on.u.com. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/refocusonu. Refocus-On-U is a nonprofit 501c3 organization that helps people who have been given a life-threatening medical diagnosis to have life-saving resources. The organization's goal is to improve the overall health and quality of life for individuals. Your generous contribution will go to make sure that the vision of Refocus-On-U will continue helping all of those who are in need of help navigating through devastating health diagnoses. Be sure and sign up for our free newsletter, where you'll be the first to receive up-to-date information on how Refocus-On-U can help you live a more healthy, positive lifestyle, despite the roadblocks that you may encounter in your life's journey.